Big smiles, big smiles. Good morning. This is Full Terrain Extra Time with myself, Andy, and Steve. We're going to be discussing the events at the London Stadium last night, where West Ham were victorious. 4-1 on the night, 5-2 on aggregate against KAA Gent from Belgium. Knowing going into the game, boys, that the other one had gone obviously to extra time, which then it resulted in AZ Alkmaar picking up the win. Let's start with you, Andy, and let's discuss the lineup when it came out. There were
No, can I just ask you a question? Can I just ask you a question and say,
a question.
Which way to Holland?
John, which way? That way. Cheers, pal.
Cheers, pal.
Oh, boys, I tell you, right. So we'll cover that in a minute. Hang on. Right.
Sorry.
So, no, you're all right. I like it. I like it a lot. Andy, you saw the lineup come out. An hour, was it an hour and a half, give or take, before the game? I saw 4 or 5 different formations, one on BT Sport, actually, as I watched the highlights back this morning, that included Declan Rice in the middle of a back five. That's not exactly how it went. Before we get into the game itself, tell me your thoughts on the lineup, Mandy. What did you think?
I was saying it last night. I said it on my fan cam. I was speaking to Bright after the game yesterday. That last week's result was the perfect result for us, because I think if we come away with like a 2-0 win, he doesn't pick that starting 11. I think, in my opinion. So that was that's what's done it. Oh, can I hear myself twice?
Not on this end, you can't.
Oh, I can hear myself twice.
You're a bit echoey.
Oh, I can hear myself twice. Oh, fair enough. Okay. Oh, it's gone now. Magic.
Didn't even do nothing.
No, I thought it was the perfect lineup. Souček obviously had a better game, like we discussed against Arsenal, when it probably would have been harsh to drop him. But with regards to the lineup, couldn't fault it.
No, I think I'm in agreement. Again, there was the traditional comment, Steve, on Twitter of Souček must have David Moyes' nudes on his phone. He must have hacked his cloud account and got a picture of his wrinkly sack, because there was a lot of people there that were having a bitch and a whine that he'd obviously been picked again. What were your thoughts, Steve? Was you surprised to see him there, or Andy, did you think he deserved to be there?
Considering Downs has started all the other games, yes, I was a bit. But Souček is there for one reason and one reason only: to get in the way, to muck the play up. He's not there for delightful skill. He's not there for any of that. He's there to be a nuisance. And last night, pretty much he was. There's a couple of times he did a few nice passing movements as well. He was part of that. So, yeah, I can't complain about him being in the side. He did what you get on the tin with Souček, didn't you? He just got in the way. He did what he did well.
He does best of it. I mean, like I say, I've seen 3 or 4 different lineups. Like I say, one including Deck in a back five, the middle centre back. That's actually the one that BT Sport put out with a quote of "This is what we got off of the UEFA website," which surprised me. Whereas the rest of us kind of knew it was a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3, for want of a better word. The start, boys. I mean, right at the very beginning, I think it weren't very far into the game, seconds, maybe a minute. Declan Rice makes one of his patented Bobby Moore challenges, where he kind of lunges in with his extended leg. And when not only does he make the tackle, he wins the ball, breaks up what looked like quite a serious attack from them in the opening. The opening 60 seconds, very much like he did against Arsenal, but they were more on the defensive when he did it. And I felt that I won't say it set the tone for the game, Andy, because I don't know about you. Obviously, they go 1-0 up, and I'm gonna talk about the first half as a whole rather than do bits on it. They go 1-0 up. Really, really poor pass from Paqueta. He has a habit of this in games. I'm certainly not singling him out on this one, but he makes a poor pass. I think he gets too comfortable in midfield with his passes, and sometimes they're not exactly either with enough power or he uses a bit of brain and makes the right pass, but he gives it away. They break. I think it's Orban on the edge of the box, pulls it back, and I don't know who the guy is that he pulls it back to on the edge of the box, but he unleashes an absolute erratic, awful shot, bounces around, falls at the feet of Kuipers, who puts it in off of Agaird's chest. Now, the reason I'm not going to single out Paqueta is Emerson. Emerson, for me, if he puts in just 50% effort to get back, he actually blocks off the run of the guy who unleashes that really wild shot, erratic shot. He actually gets in and blocks that. He doesn't even make a 5% attempt to get back into a position. So as much as it is on Paqueta for the wild pass, I actually put a lot of the blame on the feet of Emerson, because he doesn't bust a bollock to get back. We equalise with 3-4 minutes to go in the first half. I think it was the free kick on the right.
I think it was about 37th minute. I think
it something? Yeah.
Oh,
I say that it's good. No, the reason I say that because I actually went down to get the kids some food 5 minutes before the end of the half, so it felt like it was coming up to half time. Really good free kick from Bowen, whips it in near post. I mean, listen, it could have been either Antonio or Souček, or even an own goal at that point, because I think it's such a good free kick. Antonio holds off his man, gets his head on the end of it, and it's 1-1. Andy, and the reason I condensed that, because I felt that the first half was really disjointed from us. I was sitting a block over from Gatesy, and he came over to me and he asked me what I felt. And I said, well, it's not quite Fulham. It's not quite last week, but it's not any better than the game against Southampton. Because I felt it was very bitty, it was very disjointed. You know, Paqueta giving that pass away, he wasn't the only one in the first half that misplaced a ton of passes. Ben Rama, for instance, did a few as well. Before I come to you, Steve, Andy, your thoughts on that first half then, and were we, in your opinion, not necessarily lucky to be going in at half time, but we rode our luck a little bit?
I'm going to give the players a bit of slack. I think they might have been a little bit leggy from Arsenal. Fair. They put a lot of effort at that. They put a lot of effort in on Sunday, and obviously a majority of them players did play against Arsenal. The crowd was the key. The crowd was the key, because after the goal went, obviously the Bubbles, I still have goosebumps. It sounds silly every time, but every time Bubbles sings, especially a night game, you get that feeling. And even when the roar was more louder when they went a goal behind to urge the players on, and I think that's what woke them up. Like you said, I'm not going to single any players out, because every player was good in my opinion yesterday, like you said. But if I'm going to be very picky, like you said, Emerson, I agree, should have got back. Benny had a good game, but his final ball was quite bad. A couple of crosses, and I was like, that's not Benny.
Getting so frustrated, yeah.
But he was trying. You can't fault him every time.
No, can't fault the effort.
Yeah, he didn't shy away from the ball. He's that kind of player. But we'll go on to it. But great finish from Mickey. And that's Mickey of old. When he picked the ball up on the half turn, he was just running at him. When was the last time, apart from Arsenal, when he was just running at defenders and terrorising? But Bowen's obviously in my picture behind me. But Paqueta, I'm just lost for what, like you said. I think you could say we were lucky, but I think we were controlling the game at the same time.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from. Your Your thoughts, Steve, on the first half, please.
I'm going to give a lot of credit to Gent. Watching it here on the telly, They did not stop harassing us,
No.
pressuring us. We never got a chance to get into a rhythm. That first half, Gent were really good. I think it's easy to say, oh, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, but they didn't let us. James and I are sitting here watching it going, blimey, this is going to be close. The way they were playing, and okay, they may not have had the skill level that we did, but the effort they put in to make it hard for us was exceptional. So Paqueta's misplaced pass, yeah, but it comes, if you look at those mistakes, it comes from pressure. Every time a West Ham player got the ball, they had someone on them. So the first half, I was quite happy to be 1-0. I thought we were slightly the better team, and I was looking at, it's hard to describe the emotions of that first half. I both loved it and hated it all at the same time. It reminded me of watching the Daleks when I was a kid. I wanted to watch it from behind my sofa and close my eyes for the scary bits, of which there were many. But I think it's very easy to look at our performance and not give Gent any credit. And I thought they were damn good in that first half. And at half time, even though I thought we would win, I didn't think we would win anywhere near as comfortably as we did. So that's my opinion. Yeah, you can moan at our players, but I don't think there's much to moan about.
I think you're right. You're right in what you say. It was disjointed because of the pressure that they put on us. It was bitty because of the pressure that they did put on us. It was that kind of like you say, the harrying that they did kind of caught. I think it caught us a little bit off guard. I don't think we were kind of ready for that. All right. There's a lot to unpack in this second half, and very few minutes to do it in, shall we say? So I'm gonna I've watched highlights downstairs, and there's an 8-minute period right at the start of the second half, and so much goes on in such a short space of time.
It was Nottingham Forest 2.0.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? So we break 49 minutes. We break.
Yeah.
And I swear to God, right, at this point, I wanted to grab him by his potato salad-eating neck and ring it, right? From, I'd say 7 yards out, Souček hits the bar, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like, my God, at that point, I was like, ugh! The ball rattles around a bit, comes to Jared Bowen. I think it's laid out to him by Benny. Bowen, it's a really good left-footed shot, low, hard, bottom corner. Keeper gets down to the near post, save, pushes it round the post. Really, really good play.
Yeah.
From the corner, it rattles around a bit. We get the handball. I can't remember who I think it's Soufal puts the cross in. He looks up. There's nothing else on. Puts the cross in. And I don't know what the Gent defender's doing. But
he slipped, I think. I think he did slip.
I've watched it several times. I'm not sure if he slips or whether he just kind of leans in thinking, I'm going to header this. And
Didn't
it all
we hit
goes
the
out the window.
post? Didn't we hit the post before the handball?
No. So he handballs it because he goes in, it flicks up off his thigh. His arm's kind of out. Oh, you can't see my arm because it disappears in the bloody green screen. His arm's out. It bounces off his arm, lands at the feet of Antonio, who's screaming for a penalty, and just out of instinct turns, swivels, and it's a pinging shot. Comes back off the post. And then the ball stays in play for what feels like forever. Then goes out for a corner on the tackle on Benny, which, by the way, shouldn't have been a corner. And then obviously he gets told to go look at the monitor, and he gives the penalty. Everyone goes mad. Quick one-word answer from you, Andy, before I let you unpack the second half. Well, I'll quickly do the goals and then you can unpack your second half. Just one word from you, were you surprised to see Paqueta with a ball on the penalty spot rather than Benny?
No.
Steve?
Yes.
Fair. I have to say I was surprised. he does that stutter shit that drives me up the wall. He puts it top bins, and I've been having an argument with the missus this morning. I thought it was a really good penalty. It's out of reach. It's high. No goalkeeper saves that, and all of a sudden we're 2-1 up. 2 minutes later, right, and this is where dreamland started. Declan Rice wins the ball on the edge of our box, or 10 yards outside of our box. Plays it into Paqueta off of a kind of tackle pass. Paqueta gets bundled over. I actually thought that the Gent midfielder grabbed it with his arms, the ball, and kind of was trying to drag it back. Rice runs into it, picks the ball up, and then does what Declan Rice is now doing so well. He drove on from, 8 yards inside our half. Drove on, feigned to cut inside the centre-back for Gent, turns his
Sorry,
back.
can I just interrupt? It was so good to have a second half at my end. I actually can't remember the last time we had a second. I just can't. I couldn't believe it. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
So when we're shooting at the wrong end, but at least Andy will be happy.
Sorry.
But no, you're right. The defender turns his back on him. Now, when I used to coach many years ago with Charlton, and I used to do a bit of football with my younger brother before he'd go. I take credit for my brother's coaching career now because I taught him very little, but it was everything I knew. The defender turns his back on him, and Declan Rice goes back the other way, and the guy's like, shit, where's he gone? And obviously that then opens it up, and Dec puts that into the bottom bins. Big smile on his face. He runs around the back of the goal, slides, give it a salute. And then he's kind of down on his knees and his forehead's on the line. And I couldn't help but think that he's enjoying that one because it might be one of the last ones he scores for West Ham, and it's a European goal, and it's probably put us into another semi-final. And I just couldn't help but feel like that's the way he was taking it, the way he was leaning, like it was emotional for him. Moving on then, we're going to Antonio's goal again, very similar. Before the goal scored, I got really frustrated, boys. And again, I'll come to both of you once we've unpacked it. Benrahma runs next to him. I'm like, cut inside, give him something inside. You're literally, both of you are standing 5 yards in from the touchline at this point. Can one of you and then he comes inside and he pings it. Keeper probably should do better. 70th minute, Bowen has one disallowed, possibly for handball, the way it bounces.
Harsh, very harsh.
Very harsh. I did think that.
Technically, it was handball, but it was harsh.
And then at full time, I don't know if you boys see it. Again, I'm going to give you boys a couple of minutes to talk about your second half. But Antonio was limping. I don't know if you saw it on BT Sport, if you watch it back, Antonio's actually limping as he comes onto the pitch after the game, which has some obviously concerns for me for Sunday, the way he was limping. Andy, give me your second half roundup, my man. Just how much did you enjoy it? And like you say, it was at your end, so you got 3 goals in that second half, my man.
Yeah. No, I just want to give a lot of credit to the Gent fans, man. Obviously, I sit near them, and they didn't stop for most of the game. Like, it was a good atmosphere. It was a good European night.
Yeah, they were noisy. Noisy.
But the flags, man, what is it with the fucking scarf, man? They were going nuts.
Mate, did you see? So I don't know but they lit up the stadium. Did you see the Gent fans did it first?
Yeah.
Torches on their phone. West Ham fans in the Bobby Moore end and down in the stand where I was sitting on our side, all started singing, "What the fucking hell is that? What the fucking hell is that?" We scored a penalty with Paqueta, and the whole stadium did the same thing in response. It was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, no. But with regards to the penalty, I'll quickly talk about it. I think, me personally, Benny knew he wasn't having a good game, and he probably didn't feel confident. I sort of saw it. You can't really see it too. Like, I wasn't too busy celebrating, to be honest. But I think they didn't. They had a little altercation, and Benrahma, you saw after Paqueta scored, he's not like, oh, fucking dickhead or whatever. I saw Moyes. I watched it back. Yeah, I saw Moyes after. He was. Did you see Moyes? Did you watch it going back? He was like, what the fuck are they doing? They showed it on BT Sport when the penalty. He was sitting there on. It was first time he's probably sat at the London Stadium, and he's talking to Nevin and all that. Probably, I think he was words were, "What the fuck they do it?" I think even Eve said it. So but I think it was pressure. To be honest, I think Benny probably didn't want it, and the fact that Paqueta's, if he missed, obviously we'll be talking about saying why the fuck didn't he do it, but the fact that he did.
Yeah.
But with regards to Declan Rice's goal, world class. And you're probably gonna laugh at this, yeah. I think Declan's staying another year. I really do. I really do.
Can we take that on another video, boys? Because that might be interesting to talk about for 20 minutes.
Because the interview after the game, he's or with the club, I've watched like two. It went being 24 years of age and captain of West Ham is all like he was like you don't say that, and I've got a feeling he's going to stay another year. But yeah, but with regards to Mick, I reckon he'll sign a new deal in the summer, release clause, and give us another year. I think personally. So I reckon he'll go next summer.
Nice, won't it?
Yeah.
But sorry, Steve. No, go on, mate.
Well, no, I was just going to say regarding Deck, he's probably, by the time he's 30, his very, very best is going to be behind him. Okay? We've had him in the first team for 6 years. He's 24 now. He'll get 6 more seasons. Even if he goes in the summer, we've had half of his career. Yeah. I mean, and it's clear he loves the club. It's clear he's very happy.
And I'm not just saying it, Steve. Sorry to interrupt. He was doing that again. He was doing that again a lot last night. You don't do that if you're fucking going off in the summer. Sorry, I don't.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, Steve. I'm just conscious of time. Go on.
Realising his talent.
Yeah.
That's all it is, really.
Yeah. Fair play for Moyes for the subs, and I'll let Steve because we're short for time. Yeah, Mickey, good finish. Moyes made the good subs at the right time, and like really you said, like you said, Brennan AZ.
Yeah, I'll just say quickly, very relieved. Deck's goal, brilliant. What a captain's performance! I tell you what, the man who I love watching the games, Kufau. God, he's a warrior, isn't he? He's exactly the sort of player I love watching. He reminds me of Billy Bonds in his heyday. Absolute warrior, that bloke.
Well, that's a compliment.
Oh, yeah.
I tell you what, he's ripped a fuck, innit, he, as well, man.
Oh, yeah.
He's ridiculous.
Paqueta took his shirt off at the end.
I know.
Yeah.
And he's a bit of a monster as well, I've got to say.
But he's an absolutely lovely guy from what people tell me about Kufau. People have met him and stuff. But no, I was relieved. Fantastic second half performance. I watched the AK and Ajax game, and to be honest with you, neither of them looked better than Gent. I thought Gent were a much better team than both of them. I was watching the other game, so I go into the semi-final nervous because it is a semi-final and we've got a chance of getting to a final. But if we play like we did last night, I could see us going all the way in this. So it was terrific. Yeah, I absolutely loved it.
My man on the match. Sorry, because
did you see the guy? Did you see their number 8? I think his name was Ofo. Ofo. He came on and he was kicking 10 buckets of shit out of Paqueta, and Paqueta just kept getting up and smiling at him. And then I can't remember who it was. I think it was Soufal just went and absolutely lumped him, and I was like, "That's a team. That's a team that are playing together there. That's a team that are absolutely connected."
Right. So quickly, my man match is Paqueta. Paqueta. But I just want to say, a lot of people were slagging off Pablo Fornals for what he done yesterday when he kicked the ball.
I've got all the time in the world with that.
Yeah, no, but to be fair to him, he's come out on Twitter and said it. I think he was just trying to clear it up. And what he done was, the area what he done straight away, as soon as the game finished, he sprinted over and took a shirt off and gave it to a kid in that area straight away.
He gave the kid a hug, didn't he? Because
So a lot of people have been slagging him off, but I just wanted to get my point across on that.
Yeah, no, he was trying to get his foot under it and get it up. So it was up into the stands. He didn't mean to lump it and knock someone's teeth out.
I actually put in a chat last night. As soon as Fornals realise what's happened, he'll be mortified because he is such a nice lad.
Yeah.
He'll be beside himself. And him running over and giving a shirt and apologising. You know, people make mistakes. No, should he have done it? Possibly not. No, in fact, definitely not. But he said sorry, and he was upset by it. And I've never
It's
seen
one of them move on, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
happened. We move on from it.
You'll never
Is
see
what it
anything
is.
like that from him again. I know that.
No, he won't do it again. No, you know that as well as I do. He's one of them players. He loves his club. He loves the fans. He loves West Ham. He loves the entire. I think it's the same as the two Czech boys. They love everything about it, the history and everything else.
So 9 o'clock this morning, they put a tweet. Rob Pritchard, who's the media person, Sufal and Suchek were in training at 9 o'clock this morning.
Jesus wept.
God.
That's commitment. I mean, listen, they know damn well that Sunday's a big game, and we'll be doing the review for that shortly. The review, it's a big game, and there's, I think a win on Sunday and we stay. That's it. I think there's we don't even have to have the conversation about what if. I think we're safe if we win on Sunday. Boys. Oh, sorry. So Andy, your man of the match was
Paqueta.
Steve?
Kufal as usual. I just thought he was superb. I just love his complete bias. I just love watching him play. He reminds me, as I say, of Frank Lampard Senior and Billy Bonds at the back when I watched them in the 70s. He battles in exactly the same way, and I've always loved that sort of player.
Well, I mean, it's so difficult there. I think there are 3 or 4 absolute banging contenders for man of the match. Paqueta, Sufal. Thought Zuma was excellent last night.
Was he on the pogo stick at the back? Some of those
brilliant, wasn't it? I thought that Deck. I can't say it was a man of the match performance because it's just a performance that I've come to expect from Deck now. But I mean, those tackles he makes, I compare them to Bobby Moore. Bobby Moore lunge, one long leg, get up, the ball still at your feet, and you retain possession. But for me, I'm probably going to give it to Mickey. I think he was really good last night. Again, another one that just didn't stop running, didn't stop putting in the effort. And you know what? As we've said before on this channel, and you boys have been there, we love a player that just runs and tries. As long as we get that, as long as we see that effort, we're happy. And for the last 2 games, I've seen that in abundance. So, yeah, I think I'll give mine to Mickey. Andy, any last words before we wrap this up?
Just again, which way to Holland?
That way. Steve,
Cheers,
anything from you?
I can't add to that. I give up.
All right, boys. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. Leave your comments in the section below. Like and share this stream across your social media platforms. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for when we go live or we put new content on. Support the Iron Supporting Food Banks. I spoke to John last night and he reckons they're at about £4,000 collected, which is pushing 20 grand's worth of food, which is fantastic. I took 210 from my customers at my pub yesterday. So that's gone. And bring on AZ Alkmaar. Thank you very much for joining me, and I shall see you all again very, very soon.
Thank you, Jesus.
Good for me.